Hey everyone, today's video is about when Bakugou is desperate for your attention. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's get going. Babe, are you done yet? A grouchy moon came from behind you. Didn't even spare him a glance as he turned to the next page in your textbook, jotting down all the unnecessary notes you needed. Not yet. I'll be there soon. You muttered in return, sighing at the fact he's asked you the same question at least 6 times now. It was easy to tell he was getting impatient with you. Not that you had time to care now. You had to get the work finished by tomorrow afternoon, and thanks to procrastinating all week, you now had to do it all in one night. There came an angry huff from your boyfriend, who apparently wasn't satisfied with your answer. He shuffled in the bed, saw that he was sitting up, glaring holes into the back of your head as you scribbled away into your notebook. It was late into the night, and he had been asking you to come to bed for about an hour now, but you were too busy to come cuddle with him. You had a whole bunch of work to finish before you could even think about climbing into bed. Of course, Bargo wasn't giving up. He was getting angrier and angrier every second that went by, which you ignored him. Maybe he wanted some damn attention from his partner. It wasn't that much to ask for. Usually, you were always so pressing on giving him attention, but the one time he actually wants that, you ignore him? You were really pissing him off. How dare you ignore him for something you could do tomorrow? It wasn't due until the afternoon, so why couldn't you finish it in the morning? If he didn't know you any better, he'd think you were doing this on purpose, just to rile him up. You gulp down some coffee in order to help you stay awake, your pencil still never leaving the paper as you do so. You really wanted to finish your work tonight, so you could relax tomorrow. You shouldn't have left it so late. You were regretting having procrastinating on your work this morning because now you were struggling to keep your head upright. Your eyes were stinging from all the strain you were putting on them. But if you kept up with the pace you were going, you could have done all your work finished within another hour. You figured after 10 minutes of silence. Katsuki must have fallen asleep. It was the longest he had gone without interrupting you so far. You felt yourself relax, knowing you wouldn't have to keep rejecting his need for cuddles. It wasn't easy knowing your stubborn boyfriend was willingly offering you love, and you had to reject it. It was taking all your willpower not to turn around and jump onto the bed with him. You almost yelped when you felt a pair of strong arms wrap around your waist, and the chin being placed on the top of your head. Turns out, he was still very much awake and wasn't going to sleep without you. Your boyfriend stood behind you, watching as the pencil quickly scribbled down the notes. He glared at the textbook that was keeping your attention away from him. He was considering blowing it up out of pure jealousy, but the last thing he needed was for you to be pissed at him. If you were angry with him, then he definitely wouldn't get any of your loving attention. He had to play it safe. Baby, please just come to bed. You've been sat here for hours now. You can finish in the morning. He tried to reason with you, his voice practically purring in your ear. You couldn't believe this. He was purposefully trying to get you to give in to him. Did he really want attention that badly? You gulped down the need to stand up and push him over into the bed as you continue on with your work. You refused to give in to him so easily, no matter how much he whispers sweet things in your ear. Maybe you'd be more than willing to give in if you weren't so close to being finished. But that wasn't the case. If you could just be patient for another 40 minutes, you'd be able to give him all the cuddles he wanted. He glared down at that damn pencil when you didn't stop writing. The scratching noise of lead against paper was making was constant and really starting to grind against his ear. He had been listening to us for the past 4 hours. Don't you know how to take breaks? Sorry, babe, I can't. Just go sleep without me. It's only for one night. He scoffed in response, but you chose to ignore it. He would just have to wait until you're finished for some attention. Too bad you're dating the most stubborn guy in the world. He wasn't budging either, only for one light. Well, he didn't want to go all night without holding you in his arms. He would drop you away from his desk, himself if he had to. After minutes of him holding onto you, you have expected him to let you go and give up, but instead, you felt his hands gently caressing your sides, threatening to push your shirt up. You glared down at the paper in front of you. He was being so needy tonight. He really liked to choose the worst of times to beg you for attention. Couldn't he have been needy last night when you weren't trying to work? You shook your head once again, trying to ignore it, though you weren't running. He knew exactly how to push your buttons. He knew you couldn't resist such loving touches. It didn't help when he added in some kisses, gently pressing his soft lips to the top of your head. It was so sweet and tender, it made your heart flutter as his lips began to make their way down to your soft cheeks. His arms tightened around you protectively, just before he finally reached the corner of your lips. The pencil stopped writing for a moment, and Bakugou smirked in victory, thinking he had finally gotten to you. But when you started writing again, he growled. He realized you weren't about to give in anytime soon, and he felt his patience snap. That's it. He scowled and snatched the pencil out of your grasp. He threw it across the room, and you finally turned back to stare at him. It was the first time you had been able to look at your face in 4 whole hours. You looked exhausted. Your eyes were bloodshot. Your hair was a mess, and you were practically falling asleep sitting up. He huffed with a soft shake of his head. What a dumbass you are. Procrastinating so much you have to do all your work in one go and overwork yourself? I'm dating a moron. Katsuki, what the hell? You didn't have time to finish your sentence, as he had already grabbed you by your waist and threw you over his shoulder. Hey, put me down. You threw weak punches at his back in realization. Sure thing. He threw you onto the bed and then proceeded to put his full body weight on top of you so I wouldn't be able to move. No way was he letting you continue to overwork yourself and ignore him at the same time. He was going to hold you until you fell asleep, and there's nothing you can do about it. You tried to get out from under him, but he had pinned you down, his arms tightly around your waist as he cuddled you. You always want to give me attention, but the one time I actually wanted you refused to give it to me? You're sick. You rolled your eyes at him. It's more likely you only want attention when I'm busy. Get off me. I have work to finish. You shoved at his chest, but you were unable to move him. The ash blonde leaned up to your ear, pressing his lips against it as he spoke. You're really going to deny my needs? You shivered at his purposefully deep, raspy voice. It was soon followed by an amused chuckle when you finally stopped fighting against him. See, was that so hard? He let out a heavy sigh as your hands wove their way into his hair. You couldn't deny this feels great. You were really tired, and if your boyfriend was offering you cuddles, who are you to reject it, really? These were rare times. You had to take advantage of it. For once, you had been the stubborn one by refusing to stop working until it was all finished. You felt him roll over, and he pulled you on top of him. Feeling sure you weren't about to move now that he has you in his arms, he allowed you to run your fingers through his soft hair as his hands dropped up and down your sides, practically macerating your skin as his fingers rubbed circles into you. It was one of those moments he allowed a contact smile to reach his lips. He granted how happy he was about finally getting cuddles. You're so needy tonight. He couldn't even deny it. He was. So what? You got a problem with that? No, that's what I thought. He smirked and leaned up to press his lips to yours in an overdue kiss. Your legs intertwined together as your lips locked in a sweet passion. I love you so damn much. He mumbled against your lips. I know. You sang happily, and he sent you a soft glare. I mean, I love you too, duh. You corrected yourself. You heard him chuckle as you pressed your hand to his chest. The soft fabric of his shirt felt really good, accompanied by his warmth. You hadn't even realized how tired you really were until I'd thrown you onto the bed. Damn right you do. He sighed happily and laid his head back onto the pillow. He loved the feeling of your head pressed to his chest. The way you cuddled him gave him a great feeling of pride. You yawned, sleepy. He was so warm, it was lulling you to sleep. Just go to sleep, you moron. You felt his hand reach up to caress your cheek. You smiled at his gentle touch, his fingertips brushing against your skin, as if you were the most precious thing in the world. You finally gave in and closed your eyes. Fine, but you better still be cuddling me when I wake up. You tightened your hold on him. You were also feeling needy for cuddle now, and you wanted to wake up in his arms, too. If you woke up and he was gone, you'd never forgive him for his betrayal. Of course I'll be dumbass. He muttered softly before rolling you over so you were in the bed again. His arms never leaving you as you pulled the blanket up over your body. I love you, he said. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Goodbye.